You sense a subtle unease, the feeling that something significant has been withheld. You cling to the familiar stories, but deep down, you know there's a hidden truth, a cruel whisper from antiquity. It tells of forces far older than you imagine, powers that still grip this world, powers that shape our very reality. You are about to face them. The veil over Canaan, a twisted foundation. We speak of Canaan, most know it only as a promised land, a place of biblical conflict, a stage for grand narratives. But before the patriarchs walked its dust, before kingdoms rose and fell, Canaan was alive. It thrummed with raw, primal power. It was the dominion of gods, not abstract concepts, not distant ideals. These were tangible forces. They were beings of flesh and thunder. They demanded devotion. They demanded sacrifice. Their stories are not mere myths. They are keys. They unlock the cruelest esoteric secrets. Secrets that mainstream narratives buried. Secrets that reveal the true nature of power, the true cost of faith. Imagine a land. It is vibrant, it is fertile, but it is also savage. Its rhythms are brutal. Life springs from death. Order collapses into chaos. The gods of Canaan embodied this. They were not perfect. They were not benevolent. They were reflections of that raw existence. They were feared. They were appeased. They were fought. Understanding them demands a shift. You must shed your modern lenses. You must gaze into an older darkness. This darkness has never truly vanished. It merely learned to wear new masks. It learned to whisper new names. The Pantheon unveiled, gods of blood and earth. At the apex sat El, the high god. He was the father of years, ancient, wise, yet often detached. His authority was vast. His presence was primal. He was the source of all things. But El rarely intervened directly. He reigned from afar. His influence was felt, yet his hand was seldom seen. This detachment is a crucial insight. It speaks to a distant, perhaps even indifferent, creator, a force that sets things in motion, then allows them to unfold, no matter how brutal the unfolding. Power in Canaan was not given. It was seized. It was fought for. It was maintained through force. Asherah was a force of abundance. She was also a force of fierce independence. Her sacred groves dotted the land. Her presence was deeply felt. Yet the later narratives sought to erase her, to demonize her. Her power was too wild, too untamed, too feminine for the emerging patriarchal order. This suppression is no accident. It is a deliberate act. It reshapes reality. It reshades spirituality. It controls who we worship. It controls what we understand as divine. The erasure of Asherah tells you control over the divine feminine has always been central to controlling human society. Then, there were the darker aspects. Yam, the god of the sea, the chaos, the untamed depths. Yam represented primal disorder. He represented an existential threat. Mot, the god of death, the underworld. He was the ultimate devourer. Mot was inescapable. He held dominion over all flesh. His power was absolute. These weren't mere myths. They were living fears. They were daily realities. They taught the Canaanites something raw, something honest. Life was a struggle. Death was certain. And the gods were not always on your side. In fact, they might be the very source of your suffering. If these echoes of ancient truth resonate with something buried deep within you, if you feel a stirring to know more about the forces truly at play in this world, then you know what to do. You know how to find others like us. You know how to access more. The shadow of child sacrifice, Moloch and the price of power. Now, we confront the cruelest secret. It is the practice often associated with Moloch, a figure of abomination, a name synonymous with horror. Child sacrifice. The very words chill us. They evoke primal disgust. But we must look deeper. Beyond the surface horror, we must understand the underlying psychology. We must grasp the esoteric purpose. It was not mere barbarism. It was a desperate act. It was an ultimate offering, a transaction with the divine. It symbolized absolute surrender. It represented the highest possible price. The price for reign. The price for victory. The price for survival itself. The Bible condemns it. It calls it an abomination, rightly so, but it also records its practice, even among the Israelites. This isn't just historical trivia. This reveals a chilling truth. The human psyche craves control. It craves certainty. When faced with overwhelming forces, we seek leverage. We seek a way to influence the unseen. The ultimate sacrifice was seen as the ultimate leverage. It was an attempt to compel the gods, to force their hand, to ensure a desired outcome. This desire for control, this willingness to pay any price, it hasn't vanished. It's simply transformed. Think of it. What do we sacrifice today? Our innocence? Our authenticity? Our peace of mind? For success? For recognition? For material gain? We sacrifice our relationships. We sacrifice our health. We sacrifice our true selves, all in the name of a perceived benefit, a fleeting comfort, an illusory sense of security. The Canaanites sacrificed their children. They offered their literal future. What are you sacrificing? What is your modern offering to the unseen powers? Are you giving away your soul, inch by agonizing inch? Are you feeding your own hidden Moloch? This ancient horror still manifests. Not always in literal flames. Often, it burns within. It consumes from within. It demands a different kind of toll, a toll on your spirit, a toll on your very being. This act, this ultimate surrender, it reveals the true nature of the gods, not just the Canaanite ones, but any deity that demands such a price. They feed on power. They feed on desperation. They feed on the life force itself, the raw, untapped potential of a human soul, especially a pure one. It shows you the psychological contract, the unspoken agreement between humanity and the entities it worships, or the entities it fears. The gods of Canaan were hungry, and humanity was desperate. This cycle continues in subtle, insidious ways. It echoes in our hidden desires. It echoes in our darkest ambitions. The echo is deafening. It is chillingly familiar. Biblical reinterpretation. When gods become demons, the narrative shifts. A new God emerges. Yahweh. He stands apart. He claims sole dominion. He forbids the worship of other gods. But what truly happened? Were these other gods simply erased? Did they vanish into thin air? Or were they transformed? Were they demonized? This is a crucial esoteric secret. The victors write the history. They rewrite the Pantheon. The powerful deities of Canaan did not simply disappear. They were redefined. Their essence was inverted. Their power was negated. At least in the collective consciousness, they became the enemy. they became the adversarial forces. Consider Baal, the storm god, the bringer of rain and fertility. In the Hebrew Bible, he becomes an idol, a false god, an abomination. His worship leads to ruin. His followers are punished. But his power, that raw force, it didn't just dissipate. It was absorbed. It was redirected, or it became something else entirely. Something malevolent. The very characteristics of power, the ability to command nature, the ability to demand devotion, these were now attributed solely to Yahweh. Any other source was heresy. Any other source was demonic. Asherah suffered a worse fate. She was the mother goddess. She was fertility incarnate. She became a wooden pole, a symbol of paganism, a thing to be cut down, to be burned. Her worshippers were condemned. This act was not merely iconoclasm. It was spiritual castration. It was a severing of connection, a connection to the feminine divine, a connection to earthly abundance, a connection to the intuitive, to the nurturing. It was an attack on balance. It was an imposition of a singular patriarchal order, a very rigid order. This pattern is ancient. It is universal. When one spiritual system dominates another, it does not destroy the old gods. It reshapes them. It diminishes them. It turns them into shadow. It turns them into opposition. The powerful energies they represent endure. They simply operate differently. They operate in the shadows. They operate from a place of perceived evil. This is the origin of many demons. They are not always primordial evil. Sometimes they are simply deposed gods. They are exiled deities. Their names are cursed. Their power is inverted, but their essence remains. Their hunger remains. Their influence persists. Often in ways we do not recognize, they become the unseen forces, the ones that tempt us, the ones that mislead us, the ones that exploit our vulnerabilities. Are you praying to a demon? Perhaps not explicitly, but are you channeling the energies of these older forces, unknowingly, unwittingly? This is the deeper question. This is the harder truth. The enduring echoes, Canaanite forces in modern life. The ancient gods of Canaan. They are not dead. They are not forgotten. Not truly. Their energies still resonate. They pulse beneath the surface. They manifest in our modern world in ways you might find unsettling. You see, the fundamental forces they represent never vanish. Power, chaos, fertility, death, control. These are eternal archetypes. They simply adapt. They find new vessels. They wear new faces. Consider the ruthless pursuit of power, the unyielding drive for dominance. Does this not echo Baal's endless struggle, his need to conquer Yam, to secure his throne? We see it in corporations. We see it in politics. We see it in personal relationships. That insatiable hunger for control, that willingness to crush opposition. This is the spirit of Baal, not as a literal god, but as a living force, a primal energy. It flows through our world. It pulses in human ambition. It fuels conflict. It fuels destruction. It demands a cost, always. Think about the commodification of life, the exploitation of nature, the severance from spiritual nourishment. Is this not the inversion of Asherah's essence? The divine feminine desecrated, reduced to a resource, to be consumed, to be discarded? We neglect the earth. We disrespect the sacred cycles. We ignore our intuition. We dismiss the nurturing aspect of existence. This creates an imbalance. It creates a spiritual famine. It leaves us hollow. It leaves us yearning for something we can no longer name, something we were taught to forget. And what of Moloch, the spirit of child sacrifice? It thrives, not in literal altars, but in the systematic consumption of innocence, in the crushing of dreams, in the devaluation of future generations. For immediate gain, for comfort, for convenience, we sacrifice the planet. We sacrifice our children's future for cheap goods, for endless growth, for a fleeting sense of security. This is the Moloch current. It runs through our societies. It asks you to pay a terrible price, a price that seems invisible until its devastating effects become undeniable. This is the true meaning of the cruelest esoteric secrets. They are not just ancient histories. They are living forces. They operate within us. They operate through us. They shape our decisions. They shape our reality. They are the unseen hands. They are the hidden strings. You are living their legacy. Disarming ancient powers. So how do we confront these enduring echoes? How do we disarm these ancient powers? It begins with awareness. It begins with recognition. You must see the patterns. You must identify the energies, the ones that seek to dominate, the ones that demand a ruthless price, the ones that drain your vital essence. This is not about fighting demons, not in the conventional sense. This is about self-mastery. This is about reclaiming your inner territory. First, identify the Baalic impulse within you. Do you seek power at any cost? Do you dominate others? Do you ruthlessly pursue your goals without regard for consequence? Recognizing this impulse is the first step. Then consciously choose a different path. Choose cooperation. Choose compassion. Choose balance. Use your strength for creation, not for conquest. This weakens the ancient hold. This reclaims your authority. Next, reconnect with the Asherah current. Nurture yourself. Nurture your environment. Listen to your intuition. Honor the feminine principle, the receptive, the creative, the deeply connected. Reject the drive to simply consume, to simply exploit. Seek balance. Seek harmony.
Seek Palan.
Seek harmony. This reestablishes flow. This brings abundance without demand. This heals the ancient wound. And finally, face the Moloch within. What are you sacrificing? What precious aspect of yourself, of your future, are you offering it up for fleeting satisfaction, for societal approval, for an empty sense of security? Identify these sacrifices, then consciously withdraw your consent. Refuse to pay that price. Choose your soul. Choose your integrity. Choose your true freedom. This is not easy. It demands courage. It demands brutal honesty, but it is the only way to break the ancient chains. This journey, this unraveling of buried truths, it is a path of profound self-discovery. It is a path of liberation. If you are ready to delve deeper into these hidden realms, to confront the entities and archetypes that truly shape our world, then explore our Esoteric Knowledge or Demonology playlist. The link will be in the pinned comment. There are countless more layers to peel back, more secrets to expose. The Canaanite gods were exposed, their cruelest secrets laid bare, not just as history, but as a mirror, a reflection of our own inner workings, of the forces that drive us, of the prices we pay. The ultimate power is not found in dominating others. It is found in mastering yourself. In understanding the ancient currents, in choosing a different path, a path of conscious creation, a path of true freedom. What hidden truth will you expose within yourself? What ancient pattern will you finally break? The conversation begins now. Share your thoughts, share your insights. What truth resonated with you the most?